So the Alter Rebbe is continuing now to go along with the whole avodah of the davening. The Alter Rebbe has explained, and so now he's going to explain in the davening we have the Ifanim v'chayis hakodesh. Those are the angels. They're called Ifanim. Ifanim really means the wheels, like the wheels of the Merkava. They're at that level of the Ifanim. Then there's a level of Chayis HaKodesh. So the Pasuk says, we say in the davening, that the Ifanim and the Chayis HaKodesh, they are Berash Godel, with a lot of noise. What is this about the lot of noise? Why are they making so much noise? The Alter Rebbe explains that you make noise when there's something that comes above your understanding, and there's something that you get it, and you understand there's something going on, but you don't quite get it. It doesn't come down in a pneumius. It stays in a makiv. So then there's a big noise over the Brash Godel. And this comes misnasim leumas hasrofim. This is against the srofim. The srofim are a higher level than the Ifanim, the Chayis HaKodesh. The Ifanim, the Chayis HaKodesh, when they see the srofim in their avodah, in Kodesh, how it's removed, so that brings about in them that Rash Godel, that great excitement that brings them into that level. So let's look inside. The Ifanim, the Chayis HaKodesh, the Ifanim, and the holy Chayis, the Rash Godel with a great noise, a great fervor, misnasiim, they raise the umas hasrofim. And then we say, Baruch Kvod Hashem Komer, say Kodesh. The Inyan Harash. So, what is the idea of this noise? Mach vas sheshoyim im es hasrofim. Shoemrim. Kodesh Gimul Pamim. So first you say Kodesh Hashem Tzvakos Melech Loros Kvoidei. Then you say V'Fanim V'Chayis HaKodesh. So once they hear the Srofim, that they say 3 times Kodesh. The 3 times Kodesh basically means Hashem is higher. So there's 3 times Kodesh because it comes down from the level basically through Bria, Yitzira, Asiya. Each time we're saying Kodesh is higher, higher, and higher. 3 steps of being higher. And when the Srafim, they say Kodesh, because they realize that Hashem is separate, even higher, each of these madregas. And when the Ifanim and Chayis HaKodesh hear that, they become in a level of Rash Godel with a big excitement. Inyan Harash, Kodesh Gimul Pamim. They hear them saying Kodesh 3 times. V'zehu inyan leumas hasrofim. This means when we say, what does it mean leumas hasrofim? Leumas means opposite of the srofim. Meaning when they hear from the srofim, Kodesh, they become V'Fanim V'Chayis HaKodesh B'Rash God. Ubiyud inyan zeh. So to understand this idea, what is this, the excitement, what is the Rash? What is the meaning? What is the explanation when you say Kodesh? That is to say, that he is holy and separated relative. So relative to where we are, he is separated. He is Kodesh. And basically, we're going to say the 3 levels. At any level we are, we're saying that Hashem is Kodesh. Which means there is no comparison. There is no relationship in the worlds to Hashem. He's Kodesh. He's higher, beyond. He is not in the definition of filling the world. He doesn't surround the world. The lav mikol midos eilen klal. He's not at all of these measures at all. So he's not b'chlal. He is Kodesh. He's on a different realm. Not Memali, not Seviv. These are all Memali and Seviv, all have to do with the world. The world has Memali and Seviv. But Kodesh is higher. Kodesh b'vav, what does it mean when we say Kodesh with a vav, Kodesh? Hu inyan hamshocha mikodesh elyon. See, there is kodesh. The word kodesh doesn't have a vav. Kodesh has a vav. So the vav represents hamshacha, which means like this. There is the idea of kodesh, mila begarmei. It's a word by itself, distinguished. We're not saying distinguished from something. It's just distinguished on its own. Kodesh means we're distinguishing from the world and we're bringing him down into the world from the higher place. So there is a level of kodesh and there's a level of kodesh. Kodesh is Hashem and Esem. That's the Ein Sof B'Etzem. That's Musay. It's holy, separated, distinguished. Kodesh means distinguished from the world. But that's why it has a vav. The vav means Hamshachas. He's distinguished from the world. But we slap him down, we sort of draw him down into the world. Over there, the matter of talking about Kodesh, the way it works with that. So he says, Ki inyan Kodesh umila begarmei. The word Kodesh is a word on its own. Instead of, what does it mean on its own? Holy, instead of distinguished from something lower. It's this not in relationship, not in comparison, but just somebody above, beyond. So inyan atzmis kedushas oirin sof baruch hu. That is the essence of the sanctity of the blessed Ein Sof. Shekishmoi kenhu, just like we named, the name is Ein Sof. We call him Ein Sof. That's what he is. Ein Lo Sof, ve'Ein Lo Tichlachulu. He has no end and he has no goal. There's nothing, no finish. The worlds are not able to receive the blessed light of the Ein Sof as is. Why? They would be totally nullified from existence, and they would be as not existent. Hello. So how do we get through a great contraction? To draw down an expansion of a ray and a shine alone, in a level of a string, a line, and a chut. Those were the tzimtzum that came through into Hishtalshalus, made Hishtalshalus. That is Kodesh with a Vav. That means that we're bringing down. That Vav shows the Hamshocha. So the Kodesh is beyond the Hamshocha. Kodesh is the Hamshocha through the Vav. But it doesn't mean that the Hamshocha is actually something that we can really fully appreciate. It's also Kodesh. In other words, it's here, but it's distinguished. Akam Hamshocha hi, but also that Hamshocha, Adayni b'b'chinas Kodesh u'muvdal. That is still in the level of Kodesh u'muvdal. She'ein ha'olamos yicholim lahasig. The worlds cannot grasp ad shenase Hamshocha v'ha'ore da'ore, until it extends and it becomes a ray of a ray. Bu'inyan Kodesh Hasheni, and that is the second Kodesh. Hamshocha v'ha'ore mikodesh orisha. So there's the first Kodesh, then there's a second one comes from there. V'chein inyan Kodesh Hashlishi. The same thing is the third one. Hu inyan Hamshocha v'ha'ore da'ore shenimshech mikodesh habeis. That comes from the second Kodesh. I said before, Atzil Bri Tzirasi doesn't say it. It says in the other Mamorim, it says that. But basically, there is three Hamshachas that come down, each one from distinguished. So what do we say? Kodesh, 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 Hashem, Tzvokos. Which means now we can have it in the Shem Hashem. Now you can have the name of Havaya. Liyos kol hanimtsoim, so that there should be all those that are found, ha'elyonim, the supreme ones, the upper ones, sheyasigu yikor tiferes kutulasei v'reimemuse. They can grasp the preciousness of the beauty of His greatness, His exaltness, leinkes endlessly. Be'eza hasoga v'tfisa, with some sort of grasping, they capture it somehow. Yisangu ala Havaya b'hasagos. Sometime they will delight over Hashem when they grasp this wondrous delight. So what do we say? Kodesh, 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 Hashem, comes down Hashem, that we have some sort of a grasp. Tzvokos. What is the meaning of Tzvokos? Tzvokos is the name of Hashem. But the Gemara also says that Tzvokos stands of Tzov Ois. Tzvokos. Ois means a letter. And we say that there is just one letter in Hashem's army, which means the army means all the creations. Tzvokos is the host, like Malachim and everything that Shamas, everything Hashem created. Hashem Tzvokos, the Lord, the God of hosts, that all the spheres, all the creations. So we're saying Tzvokos, the Gemara says there, it's only a letter, Ois, Shav, Ois. Basically, what it's saying is that the revelation of Hashem in the tzvos, in all of the creations, is only the amount of a letter, and actually a small letter, like the letter Yud, which means basically that the hamshocha that they do get is very little. So as we say, Kodesh, 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 Hashem comes down, but tzvokos, it comes down very little. It's just like one letter next to a whole sentence, or next to the word. It's just almost meaningless. It means very little. So the hamshocha that they do get, the light that they're able to grasp, is very, very small. Still, which means, notwithstanding that there is a little bit of a grasping, we're saying that we're good, but it still calls it tzvokos, Kodesh, 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 Hashem, tzvokos. Oishu b'tzava delay, that is only a letter in his army. It is not grasp, not on a level of grasp, but elal derech moshu. This is by way of example, the b'chinas ois achas, a level of one letter, me'inyan sholem b'haskola v'hasoga shlema. If you try to say how much is the value of one letter as it relates to a whole subject matter, to understanding and grasping, sha'oisahu, that letter, ein lo erech li is nikra olav klal shem hasoga. So that letter does not have any value to say, oh, that letter is understanding. That letter is just a small little piece in the whole understanding. You need a whole sentence. You need a whole bunch of words to understand. But it's just a mush, it's a little bit. It's only like a hint. The kachu inyan nasoga soilama is likewise is the grasping of the world. Even the worlds above, the higher worlds, since they are created being and they are renewed, they are come from non-existent to existent. They don't have a grasping, they don't have an understanding in Hashem by himself. They don't have an understanding. It's trying to say it's only like an ois, we get very little understanding. Because Hashem himself is the same as before the world was creation. They only can grasp in that energy that expands in the world, to vitalize them, and to bring him into existence. How much is that considered? This is one letter. The Yud Nivra Ha'olam Haba, Ubehe Ha'olam Hazeh, Ve'elam Ha'masoga, Elo. B'chinas Yud. I wonder if I heard the door downstairs, but I don't see any. Huh? You heard? No. Elo B'chinas Yud. Maybe it's the window, but just whatever. So in other words, they have a very small level of understanding. Okay. So B'hinei kasher ha'ifanim. So who says Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh? Who says that? The Serafim say that. But we're explaining now Ha'ifanim v'chayis haKodesh. And when the Ha'ifanim shoymim es Serafim, they hear the Serafim Emrim came. They say so, that they say Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh Hashem Tzvokot. Mari'ishim bekoil ra'ash godel. So they make a lot of noise, with a lot of big noise, machmas. Sheshoimim dover godel. They hear something great, shulamaylo mahasogosum, which is beyond their grasping. She'einoi nitvas v'niklot bahasagosum b'bchinas pnimis, rak b'bchinas makiv. It cannot be caught and absorbed in their understanding in the inner, only makif. They see what the Serafim are saying, Kodesh, Kodesh. They don't really get it. They just get makif. She'ein koyach b'bchinas kli hasagosam. They don't have the power in their vessels of grasping la'ochil hasoga hagadoyla v'haniro hahi, to hold this great understanding and awesome understanding. Elonishar aleihem b'bchinas makif, but it remains on them in a way of surrounding. Can't get it. And yet, the b'chinas makif masigim, they do understand in sheyesh davar gadol v'neira, that there's something great and awesome. They understand that. Nimshach mizeh. So while they can't understand it, but they get it, makif, that there's something going on over here. So they get, what's happening over here? And they see something great is going on because the Serafim are saying Kodesh, Kodesh. So he says, so then there is a mark. It goes into the inner, liyas b'chinas ram, a thunder, v'ra'ash godel, and a great noise. Ki kol davar chidush she'ein musuk b'seichel. For any time you have something new, which you can't really understand in your seichel, but you hear it in a surrounding way. You hear it, you get something. And then there's a mark from that goes into the inside. This becomes an excitement in a inner way. To say, look, there's something new going on over here. The intellect does not have the power to grasp and understand that matter as its own of itself. They can't get it. From this, that noise is created. Because of the great, powerful wonders of this awesome thing, that he doesn't have the power in his intellect to grasp, will create for him a great noise. So how come the Oifanim, the Chayis HaKodesh, they are so excited? What about the Serafim? Serafim are from a higher level. They are able, even it's Kodesh, Kodesh, but they can contain it. They have a way because they're on a higher Madrega. But the Chayis, Oifanim, Chayis HaKodesh, who are on a lower Madrega, they come out with excitement because they can't really grasp it. Serafim. Because their root is from this place of the noise. The pasuk says, that the Serafim stand beyond him, which means they are on a higher level. So, this grasping is not such a novelty to them. Our sages of blessed memory say that this is Rava says that whatever Yecheskel saw, Yeshaya Hanavi saw. But Yecheskel looked at it like a villager who sees the king. And Yeshaya is like a man of a person of a big city seeing the king, which means Villager doesn't have really an understanding how much of it the king is. So basically, there are two looks. The way one perceives Hashem, you can perceive it like the Srafim in the higher level, or you can see it like the Ben Krach. And the Ben Krach apparently will be more excited because he doesn't have a relationship. The same Lachain, Eina Marishim, that's why they don't make noise, the Srafim. Kilachain Nikra Shemam Srafim. Why are they called Srafim? Shekvar Nisr V'chulu. They've already been burnt. In other words, they're already at that Madrega. They've already been consumed by their love. Yotzef brings another example. Chavrei Daniel Shelo Yesigu Hamare. Over there it says, Varoisa Ani Daniel, just Daniel saw that great vision. And the other people that were with him, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, they didn't see it. So, but yet they were very terrified. So the only one who saw it was Daniel. But yet the other ones were, what did they do? Why were they terrified? The Gemara says, how come they were terrified? They didn't see it. The Gemara said they didn't see it, but their mazel saw it. Their mazel, somehow their spiritual counterpart was able to see it, that brought them that fear. So Chavrei Daniel, Shelo Yisigu Hamare, Rag de Mazlayu Chazi, it was only their mazel that saw. Noflo Charodo Gedoil Aleim. So they felt a great trembling of them. But what Yoiser mi Daniel, Shiros Hamare, even more, Daniel actually saw it. But he didn't tremble. Those who didn't see, they trembled. That needs to say the same idea here, that the Srafim that are able to contain it, they don't have that Rash God. But the Chayis, Fanakodesh, they tremble, they bring the Rash God. The fish, and Nefesh Abamis, Shorshem, and B'chinis, Sefarim, and Chayis, since the Nefesh Abamis is rooted from the level of Sefarim and Chayis, Al Kain, Yeshbo, HaKoyach Hazeh, should be spoiled with B'chinas Rash. That's why she has that power. When we said before, when you daven and you turn over the Nefesh HaBahamis, so therefore there is that koyach that it should become excited in a way of excitement. Zehu inyan dechele yatir. This is what we said before from the Zohar. He says, what's so special about the Baal Tshuva? Because the Baal Tshuva does it with more force. Because the Baal Tshuva, the Nefesh HaBahamis, is turning it around, and you're tapping into the inner koyach that is inside, comes with more force, just like the Rash. And also, Tov Me'oid, Yoiser Mebchinas HaAvas HaNefesh L'Kis Ba'atzma. As we said before, Tov is Malach HaChayim. Tov Me'oid is Malach HaMavis. Said, how could the Malach HaMavis be good? He says, not the Malach HaMavis. The Ra, when you turn it around, the Ishabcha, when you turn Chasheicha L'Nehoira, you have the Chele Yatir, and you have the greatest higher level in the connection to Hashem. What will happen? So what does the person benefit from all this? So all this brings about, when you turn to Hashem with a greater rash, with a greater chele, with more koyach, with more force, you actually bring down from the level, a higher level, down to the person, because you tap into a higher level. And it says, the pasuk says, Kimayim aponim leponim. Basically, the face you show the water is the image you get back. We use this, so he says, Shlomo HaMelech says, Kein lev ha'odom le'odom. If you show a person love, you'll get back love. The heart of a person is like the water, it reflects the face. That's the way. The same thing is with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When we show love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter gives us back love. It's Kain Leva Odam Alev. When you give the Eibishter love with a Rash Godel, you get from a great level of above. But over here, he's saying, teaching, Kain Leva Odam El Ha'odam. There is the Odam. The most, everything is in that seer of an Odam. Like we said, the 10 spheres. Chochmah, Bin Adat, there's Moichin, Avidus. It's like a human. That means the formation, like a human, called Odom. So we have the level of Odom, which is Al Hakisei, and we have the level of Adam which is below the Kisei. So Leiv HaAdam, El HaAdam means the Adam below the Kisei, which comes through the davening, which comes through the angels of Srafi V'Fanei HaKodesh. Their Leiv HaAdam goes up El HaAdam to the Adam She'al HaKisei, and they get the Hamshocha from Me'al HaKisei. Hinei, Al Yidei Harash Nase, through this noise, what happens? Kamayim Haponim Leponim, Kein Leiv HaAdam LaAdam. Just like the face of the water shows back to the face, Kein Leiv HaAdam LaAdam, so the heart of man is to the man. Pirush HaAdam LaAdam, what does it mean in this case, the man to man? Ki yesh Adam shal demus hakisei, we say demus kimare Adam. The image on the throne was an image of, looks like Adam. Yesh bechinas Adam shemitachas lekisei. There is an Adam below the kisei. There is the 4 level of Merkava. So you have the 4 different faces. Pnei Shoyer, Pnei Aryeh, we learned in the previous Mamer also there, okay? And Pnei Nesher. And there's also the Pnei Adam. But not, he's saying not only is the Pnei Adam, but each one of these 3 animals that we talk about, the lion, the ox, and the eagle, the Nesher, they too have a face of an Adam. We said before there is 4 faces to each one. So that means that even, and he said before, the Pnei Adam may be the inner of the faces. So he says like this. Yesh b'chinas Adam shebetachas lekisei. So there is the Adam below the kisei. Va'afilu hagimul chayis, even the 3 animals, which is Pnei Aryeh, the face of the lion, and Pnei Shor, the face of the ox, and Pnei Nesher, the face of the eagle. Hey, b'chinas Adam, they too are b'chinas Adam. Like we read about the chariots of Cheskel, that all 4 also had the Pnei Adam. So while they had the other faces, but they had a face of Adam also. So basically, there is the Adam in each one of these chayas that is below the kisei, and then there is the Adam she'al kisei. Ba'im ezeh bezoyar parshas b'midbar daf kuf yud ches omid beis ubepirush haramaz shom ubezoyar parshas tazriya daf mem ches soif omid aleph ubeparshas breishis daf yud ches soif omid beis u'kamayim aponim leponim, the face showed upon Cain Leiv HaAdam Shalamayla Ala Kisei. So is the heart of the Adam, which is on the throne, Le Adam Shemitachas La Kisei, to the Adam which is below the Kisei. Bisaruso delay b'chinas Rash Gadol Kinal. When there's Ruso del Tata, when there is a arousal below of the Adam Shalamato from the Kisei, that brings the Leiva Adam Shalamayla, b'chinas Rash Gadol Kinal. Rash, you bring down the Adam Lamayla like you say. Upirush Pnei Pnei Adam. So what does it mean? We're saying they're animals, Aryeh, Shoyer, Nesher, and yet we're saying they're Adam. It says Pnei Hem Pnei Adam. That means in inner they also are Pnei Adam because they've extended into animals, but they have that root of the Adam. Pirush Pnei Hem Pnei Adam. Hainu shebepnimiyusam the b'chinas efanim v'chayis. That in the inner of the fanim v'chayis to b'chinas Adam. The level of Adam. Likewise is also by the human, the animal soul by the person. Inside of it is the nefesh hasichlis. So over there it says, so pneihem we're saying that's pnimiyuso. So the word upneihem has a pneihem, that's a stop, because to tell you there's a difference. Pneim is the inner. Kanfeim, their wings, that's already the nesher, that's separate. To tell you, Sha'atamal ufneim ubezokiv godel, that's what is zokiv godel. Show hefsek, which is a hefsek. Lehafsik bein ufneim levechanfeim chulu einshom, to make the interruption, a stop. We said before, you bring the arousal to overpower that also the nefesh habahamis should start wanting godliness and the intellectual nefesh. So bechinas leva adam hatachten el haadam chulu. That's bringing up the leva adam to the tachten. So from this nimshach yisrus adil. Then you bring it down from above. So to understand this razzle of above, so we'll also understand this by the aspect, by the matter of karbonos. What is the karbonos? Lahakriv chayla v'dam shel ha'behemo al gabe hamizbeach. The karbonos is to bring the fat and the blood of the behema on the mizbeach. Ugam kein b'chinas halo the nefesh habehema sheshorsho mechayes v'yifanim b'chinas pnei shir chulu. The root bringing up the nefesh of behema that comes from chayes v'yifanim. We're talking about the nefesh habahamis. This is talking about the real behema that you bring the korban. So over there, we're taking the behema which comes from the chayes v'yifanim b'nei shir. So that was the process. What we would do, you bring fire from below, and through bringing the fire below, also rested a fire from above, which was called an aryeh, the ochal kurbanin. It was a lion. The fire was in the shape of a lion that would consume the korbanos. Why specifically an aryeh? Because the aryeh is the melech shabachayis. That's the king of the chayis. Lihiskolel be'eish l'mayla, to be included in the fire of above. So that is the korban, the nefesh habahah, the rooted from the chayis v'fanim, to be brought back into the bechinas aryeh, into the aryeh for the merkabah. And something also by the davening. Bahaloas nefesh habahamis yes gam kim based on this issues. There's two fires. There's a fire that you bring from below, like we said, you bring a fire, and then you get a fire from above. Halo v'amshocha. You have halo going up and going down. It calls the nikra achilas mizbeach. This is all called the consumption of the mizbeach. This is in the karbonos. Same thing is idea by the souls that we say shemechoil kohen gadol makriv al gabe hamizbeach. It says the high priest brings them on the mizbeach, at the spiritual mizbeach. The shames are created from ayin to yesh. They are brought, offered higher and higher. The kolel ba'atzilus, to be brought in atzilus, the iu v'chamoyoy v'garmoy yichad. Over there, Hashem, with his energy and with the kelim are one, brings them up into the level of atzilus. So you have the korbanos, the regular, but also the neshamas are brought up. Everybody to get an aliyah through this korbanos. So korbanos is basically to become closer to Hashem. So b'hinei hakarobes hakarbones al gabe hamizbeach nikra b'shem achila. So we call this eating. It's called, sort of speaking, eating. Mamer azal. The sages tell us that b'shtei achilos hakosum medaber. The Torah talks about two eatings. Echad achilos odom, ve'echad achilos mizbeach. So they have in the Gemara Menachos, it says It says 2 times, ochel ye ochel. So the Torah is talking about, we have the Kohanim, they ate, and you have the Korbanos ate. From some of the Korbanos, the Kohanim ate, sometimes the Bailim ate, the owners ate, but so do Lefi Shehi Bechinas Pnimius, Ochalti Ya'ori Im Davshi. Because why is this called Achila? When you eat, you bring the food into yourself. It becomes part of you. It's going to make a distinction between eating and smell. A smell is not considered that going into the person. The ketoides is a smell, incense. The korbanos are achila, that's eating. This is called achila, shibchinas pnimis. He brings the pasuk in Shirashirim, achalti yori im davshi, I ate the forest with the honey in there, but this is all consumption inside, achila. V'ayim ashakosu, v'dibra hamaschil, v'im he'ochel ya'ochel, the parshas shlach over there, which is that's the lashon, the two achilas. All is called achilas. So korbanos are called achilas. Now the Rebbe is getting at, he's going to explain, the korbanos hanesim had 2 things it had. It had, some things were korbanos, regular korbanos. It also had ketoides, it had the reach. He's trying to explain what he's going on to explain here. These are the 2 levels, avodas Hashem, but also explaining the lashon of the pasuk, and then acharei moshach oisoi, that it depends when we're talking about the actual korbanos, or we're talking about the ketoides. That's what we're going for. Aval yesh b'china acheres, which we're going to explain in the Mamer, but I'm just saying that's why he's talking about the ketoides now versus the achila, to tell us the different parts of the korbanos of the Nisi. Yesh b'chinas acheres, there's another level, b'chinas makif. That's the level of makif. Shu inyan haketoides. That is the idea of the incense. Shu rak reach. Shaneshama nenis men of le'aguf. The soul benefits, enjoys it, but not the body. She'einei nichnas beguf klal b'chinas primis. It doesn't go into the body in the inside. Rak b'chinas makif l'mayla. Only in a way of makif. V'nisbayir mizeh b'biur al-posik b'os legani. The word was gabarisi moiri, but then ukmoi shachoitem ulamayla machech. Just like the nose is higher than the mouth, than the gum, that means that the smell is a higher level than taste, than eating. I'm a shekosa pasuk reich b'nei b'pashas told us ein shom be'inyan halo asman sheb'chinas makiv v'ayin bezoyer say parshas vayakil daf reish utes aleph me'inyan ketoides. Over Parshas Bahalois Chodaf Kufnon Aleph Omed Beis, B'Shom Mevuir Gamkein over there was the Meinyan Mizbeach Hapnimi uMizbeach Hachitzin. So the inner Mizbeach and the outer Mizbeach, because in the inner Mizbeach you brought the ketoides most of the time, but in the Nisim they brought the ketoides on the Mizbeach Hachitzin. He's going to explain later on. But there's a different Mizbeach Hapnimi, that was the Reach, the inner Mizbeach Hachitzin. The outside that was the Achila. Behind Ubchinas Panimis Over there explains it, the inner of the heart, the external of the heart, the level of eating and level of smell. Unite our hearts, meaning both together, bring both hearts, the Panimis and the Chitzonis Einshom. Einshom Mashkos meaning Keteris Lil Aposik Nosis Roish Bnei Gershem, Ubdir Ramaskal B'Chove B'Kislev. Ein Mashkos of Ramaz. So Parshas Boy, Apiarayim Mehemnes Shom Daf Mem Amedes. Hine Haketoides Lo Yehoiso Kreiva Amizbeach Hachitzi. The Ketoides was not brought on the outer Mizbeach. Kiim Ach Mizbeach Hapnimi. Normally you brought it in the inner Mizbeach, inside of the Heichel. That's where you brought the Ketoides. Ach Verag B'Nisim Hoiso Hirosho. Only by the leaders. When they brought their korbanos, there was a instruction for the time, just for that time. They offered this incense on the external mizbeach. It was done in order to dedicate the mizbeach they also brought the Ketores over there on the outside Mizbeach. Alter Rebbe gives a very interesting marshal over here. He says when you want to get a child used to learning, you give him something extra, so that you train him that way. Of course, you can just learn with him, but you promise him an extra gift or something. He says, Achos and Kala, for example, he says, it's a new yichud, to give. That's why you give a Achos, you give a gift. Also, that's the extra. This is the idea, he says, of the Ketores being brought on the Mizbeach HaChitzah. Before we're going through the regular, usually the Mizbeach HaChitzah doesn't get Ketores. Ketores goes in the inside. But we want to dedicate, want to give additional koach, we brought some Ketores on the outside. Hine, HaKetores lo yisakreiva al Mizbeach HaChitzah. Ki im al Mizbeach HaPnimi. That was always offered not on the external Mizbeach, but on the inner Mizbeach. Only by the Nesim there was a instruction for the time. They brought the Ketores on the external Mizbeach. That was in order to dedicate the Mizbeach, we brought Ketores. What is this dedication? It's like education. Like we say, educate the youngster based on his way. Example, a child. When you train him to learn, you give him an extra gift in order to train him to start learning when he's done. As opposed to when it's already got used to it and he started to learn. So then you don't give him the gifts, then you just got to learn. That means the education to learn is not just by learning. This is constant by him. How do you educate him? Give something extra. Some kind of closeness. Or some kind of a gift. But once you have already educated him, it's sufficient with what you always do, you learn. Why do we need this extra? Every time to start something is hard. So in order to be a beginning, you have to be chinuch. זהו גם כן